everybody who's been here before, welcome back. And welcome to those of you who are new and fresh today. So I'm going to share my screen straight away, and then we'll get stuck into it and I'll introduce myself, etc. But in the meantime, before I do that, I invite you all to jump into the chat and let us know in 15 words or less what your business is. So the way you would do that is it's like writing your superpower or your superhero statement. So you would say, for example, I'm Kylie and I build brands. That's literally in, less than 15 words, but then it gets people intrigued. And then you can put in your Facebook link, your Instagram link, and at the end of the session, everybody can save the chat and then they can go and connect with each other on Facebook and on Instagram. And it's a wonderful way to grow your account organically and connect with people. So just jump into the chat and tell us all about who you are and what you do and what you love about what you do. Looks to me like Petra was super organized and had it all ready to copy and paste, which I love. Well done, Petra. Good idea. All right, guys. So I'm going to click over now, share my screen and get talking all about social media, Instagram stories. And one of the very exciting things too that I'll let you know more about at the very end of the session, but my fabulous Merlin, who's one of my team, has made a wonderful discovery. And that is because I'm complaining all the time about the fact that you can't schedule stories. And it's a pain in the butt, like unless you're using an external app. And of course, we know that if you use an external app, then your posts are getting penalized. So Merlin has found a wonderful way to do it where you can post from your computer rather than having to do it on your phone. And so we've created a little magic PDF for telling you all about how to do that. So we'll tell you at the end all about it, and then you will be able to have it if you want to. So I'm going to share my screen now, and good on you guys for all getting that going in the chat. That's awesome. So yeah, just remember, for those of you that have just arrived, pop into the chat, let us know all about what you do, how you help people, and how people can find you on social media. Great. So let's share my screen now and get straight into it. I'll just click on present. Let me know. Give me a little, I can see Brenda there. So Brenda, give me a little thumbs up if you can see it.
Yep.
Great. Perfect. Okay, so these are my 5 top tips to creating engaging Instagram stories. We all know that Instagram stories are incredibly important these days. So we want to show off your human side with Instagram stories. One of the cool things about it is it's not such a curated space that you need to be in, like, for example, in the Instagram account, which is a lot more about what it looks like and all of that. Instagram stories is very, very different. And you can really just go with the flow with whatever you feel like doing. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that soon. So I'm Kylie and I build brands. My business is Hello Media, and I'm based in Bangalore in the northern New South Wales, on the northern far north coast of New South Wales, just beside Byron Bay and just under the Queensland borders. I help entrepreneurs and businesses get visible online so that they can attract their customers to them instead of chasing them. And really, my favorite thing is to help people to simplify their digital marketing. And a lot of people say to me, what is digital marketing? Well, digital marketing is anywhere that your business is seen online. So it's everything from your website to your email marketing, your social media marketing, your Google My Business, it's your SEO, it's all the things about where people will see you online. So that's what I do. And I put in this little quote, which is, it's not should we work on our digital marketing, but rather how well are we working on our digital marketing? And remembering not to have all your eggs in one boat. So don't put all your chickens in the something or other. I can't remember the saying, but the bottom line is, don't just have one place where you're communicating with your followers, etc. Because if that one falls over, then what have you got left? You need to make sure that you're building up all these different ways that people can connect with you and find out about more of what you do, etc. So, and of course, you can find that out through my Monday afternoons free weekly digital marketing webinars, where every week is a different topic. So I'm a speaker, coach, mentor, writer, designer, educator, presenter, content creator and branding specialist. And that all comes under the topic of the title of business coach specializing in digital marketing. I also run a meetup group called Positive Passionate Women in Business, and anybody is welcome to join that. We have online monthly meetups with speakers and all that kind of thing, and they're at night. And when we can again, we will meet in person. And but at the moment, it's all online and people from all over the world can join, and it's lots of fun and a lovely space to be in. I have one other free offering per week, which is called Bite-Sized Conversations. And I do that with Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting. And we do that every Friday morning, and in New South Wales time, that's 9:15 in the morning. So you can join us for that any Friday that you feel like. And that one's 30 minutes. And then the Monday afternoons are for 1 hour. So moving right along, let's have a little look at some stats about Instagram stories. So firstly, there's 1.16 billion estimated Instagram users around the world. There are 500 million daily active users of Instagram stories. There's 15 to 25% of people that swipe up on a link in branded stories. There's 1/3 of the most viewed Instagram stories are from businesses. And 87% of Instagram users actively create content with the Instagram Stories feature, not on a monthly basis, but on a daily basis. And influencers are paid between $43 and $721 on average for Instagram Stories, if anybody's thinking of working with influencers. The typical cell phone user touches his or her phone 2,617 times every single day. Does that seem a little bit high to you guys? If it does, I want you to spend even 1 hour thinking about or being conscious of how often you touch your phone. Is it to open it to read a text message? Is it to open an app? Is it to press play to listen to music? Whatever it is, that is an extraordinarily high number, isn't it, of how many times on average somebody touches their phone. But so keep a little idea of what it is that you're doing with yours, because it will blow your mind how often it is. And that's just the average user. The study found that extreme users, meaning the top 10% of people, touch their phones more than 5,400 times a day. Tell me in the comments, jump into the chat and let me know how often you reckon that you would be touching yours a day. Would you be in the really, really low percentage of users, so under 2,000 times a day? Or would you be closer to the 5,000 times a day? Because either way, it's a pretty extraordinary number. So let me know what you reckon you're at. So before we can get stuck in, we need to look at what we need to be aiming for when it comes to any kind of social media engagement. And that includes anything on our Facebook, anything on our Instagram, and whether that's stories or in a regular post. So I always love to give this analogy of the Olympic medals. So the bronze medal will aim at the bottom, which is still on the podium, so it's still good, but that's getting a like. So we always want to get some kind of engagement happening on our post, because you need to create scroll stopping content, whether that's scrolling down because they're going through the feed, or whether that's scrolling across because they're going through your stories. Whatever it is, we want them to stop on what you're posting and then engage with you. The reason you want them to engage with you is because that tells Instagram or Facebook that your content is worthy, and then they'll show it to more people. So that's number one. The second thing is that the more that person sees your content, the more of your content that they're shown. Does that make sense? I hope so. So we're aiming for anything that's on the podium. So the bronze medal is the like. When somebody likes it, then that's winning for sure. Or that's third. Let's move then to the silver medal. And what happens when you get a silver medal? That's because someone has commented. And particularly awesome in Instagram stories when someone comments, because they slide right into your DMs. And then that's a wonderful opportunity for you to then to reply. And then you've opened up a beautiful form of a chat, a little communication going on. And you can then talk with them about all kinds of things, ask them questions, invite them to a webinar. You can do whatever you want in that space. So definitely aim for getting comments. And then the third one, which of course is the best, is the gold medal. And I'm giving that a 2-prong gold medal. So first equal. So the first one would be if somebody shares your post, whether it's on stories or whether that's in your regular feed. If they share your story or share your post, that means it's new eyeballs that had never seen that post before and never knew about you before. So that's winning there. And then the second way is that if they tag somebody in your post. that's also really well and truly winning. So remember about the gold medal, the Olympic medal analogy. So bronze, you get a like, silver, you get a comment, and gold, you're getting a sharing or a tag. So it's really a good direction to head and good way to think about what is it that you need to be aiming for when it comes to social media engagement. So I've did a little thing over here. If you want to take a screenshot of that, you're welcome to. So it's just that on the left-hand side, it explains to you what to do when you're actually going and aiming for those medals. So we've got, again, the bronze for the like, the silver for the comment, or the gold if they're sharing it out or if they're tagging a friend in there. So that's truly winning. And of course, we want to aim for gold. Okay, moving right along to the next post is the 80-20 rule. That's a really important one that I need to share with you as well, because a lot of people think it's important to be selling their business constantly, or selling their product, or selling their service, selling whatever they do, and just hammering it down our throats. Now, I often use the same example, which is of a rug shop. Now, I'm not in the market for a rug right now, but I have a rug. So if somebody has tagged me in a post about a rug because it was a great post about how to clean a rug, perhaps, I'd be like, oh, that's good. So I'm following along, I'm watching. And then every now and then I'm getting to see tips that these people are putting out about their rug shop. And I'm not just learning all about what rugs they've got for sale. I'm learning about all the things about how I might care for my rug, how I might redecorate my room, but keeping the same rug, how I might pair cushions with my rug, whatever kind of things that they might be sharing. But the point being is that I might have a friend that then I suddenly realize is looking for a rug. So I'll tag them in one of those posts. Or I might down the track, even in 6 months' time, suddenly be in the market for a rug. And these guys are front of mind. And immediately I would go to their website because I've remembered that I really enjoy seeing their posts because they're offering me value. But if they'd done the opposite, and if they were just selling their rug to me all the time, you can be sure I would have lost interest and I would have unfollowed them or unliked them, because the rugs were very relevant to me at that point. So keep that in mind with your own business. How much of the time that you're doing posts are they posts that are all about what you do and what you offer and what people should buy and what people should book, etc. And how much of the time are those posts actually more about how can I be offering something to you? How can I be giving you value? So I created the 80-20 rule, which means 80% of the time you are edutaining, which is entertaining or educating. So giving people top tips, giving people amusing stories, whatever it is. It doesn't need to always be about business either. You could do some lovely posts about what's going on in the world where you live. It could be what goes on behind the scenes of your business. It could be what goes on in your town or suburb or whatever. It could just be something interesting. Doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be about what we had for dinner. But for example, thinking of my friend Andrea, who's in here right now, I think it's quite a fascinating to think, because she's a hairdresser. It's fascinating to think, how do hairdressers get their own grey hair? Most of them, I don't imagine, would be cutting their own, or maybe they would be. Do they dye their own? How do hairdressers look after their own hair? So sharing posts about that would be quite fun. And also asking questions. The more questions you ask, the more you're getting to know your audience and the more they're getting to know you. So if for example, if Andrea was to do a post like, what's your worst hair story ever? Or what's one thing that you wish you never did to your hair? And honestly, I could list like 50, like the many, many perms I've had, the many, many things I've done in my dark past of hair issues. So keep that in mind, guys. Coming up with really awesome questions that you can ask to be connecting with people is a great way to do it. So remember, you're not always selling your stuff, you're sharing and you're getting to know your community and they're getting to know you. So Instagram story, what's the point of it? Instagram stories is where you can amplify, promote, and broadcast. They can stay up for 24 hours. So FOMO is a major, major thing. I shouldn't say they can stay up. They only stay up for 24 hours. So people often, when they open up Instagram on their phone, the first thing they do is start looking at stories, scrolling across the stories, because they know that if they've missed it, they probably aren't going to see it again. That said, though, if you want to keep your Instagram stories forever, you can save them into your highlights reel. And the highlights reel is on your phone. on everybody's Instagram account. If you don't see a highlights reel there, it's because they haven't done any stories, or they just have chosen not to highlight their stories. And we'll take a little look at that in a moment. So keep in mind that stories are a wonderful, wonderful way to put something out there and test the waters. And then you can either delete it and not delete it, but it can just disappear after 24 hours, or you can keep it and highlight it for other people to see ongoing. Okay, so we have 4 Instagram neighborhoods on Instagram. The 4 main areas for content production and interaction on the Instagram profile, and each of them has its own defining features. So number 1 is story or stories. Number 2 is the Instagram feed, which most of you would already know. As you open up Instagram, you start scrolling through and you see what's coming up in your feed. There's also live for Instagram. So that would be where you actually hold your phone up and start recording yourself and you're talking live. And of course, there's Instagram TV, which is a great way to put out longer content. So all of those parts of Instagram, and of course, there's more as well. There's reels, etc. But these are your 4 areas for content production. So what we're talking about today is stories. So the story section of Instagram. So what's good about stories? Well, the intention was to allow people to share moments of their day quickly and easily. These could be in the form of a series of photos or videos, and everything that you put together for your story would become a slideshow on Instagram. And this stays on your account for 24 hours. And then, as I said before, it disappears. The coolest part is that Instagram stories are featured at the top of the home feed. So you don't have to try and beat the algorithm. They're up there already. And also it's very, very clear if you've looked at someone's story or not, because there's a lovely pinky, orangey circle around the story if you haven't seen it. So you can quickly tell which one you need to watch before it disappears. So all you need to do is add another element to your story, and then you're bumped right to the top of the front of the line again. So a really great way to keep getting to the top and the front is just to keep adding another story. That doesn't mean you need to do a story every 5 minutes over 24 hours. No way. It just means that if you want to add a few stories throughout the day or throughout a 24-hour period, just don't put them all there all at once. Just add another one 6 hours later and another one 6 hours later, or whatever time frame that you want to work on. And in addition, Instagram posts a little reminder in the feed about stories that are about to expire or that have been the most popular. So your followers have another nudge to watch your story before it disappears. So Instagram is really promoting stories at the moment. So it's definitely another reason why you need to be trying it out. So if you haven't been using Instagram stories yet or haven't started yet, now is definitely the time. So let's have a little think about what the purpose is of your stories. So this is my 5 techniques to creating engaging Instagram stories. The number 1 is consider what it is that you're even doing. What is the purpose of the stories that you're putting out? Number 2 is how are you engaging people to interact with and watch your entire story and not just tap through? Because what happens when people tap through and don't watch the whole story and then let it play out to the end and then open up the next story and then the next story and the next story. When that doesn't happen and when you actually click through, then that tells Instagram that it was not worthy content. So it doesn't show it to more and more people. So the more that people watch the entire story, the more it tells Instagram, yes, worthy content, let's show it to more of her followers. So make sure that whatever content you're putting out there, you're really thinking hard about, is this something that people are actually going to sit and stay and watch and let flow through? Because that's what you're aiming for. The next one is, what will you include to ensure your story gets the highest reach? So my suggestion always, and we'll have a little look again at this in a bit more detail soon, is putting something on your stories that makes people interact and use their finger to touch. Remember we said before about how many thousands of times a day the average person is touching their phone? So if you've got one of those things like a slider or a poll or anything on your stories where they need to touch and do, then you're winning, because they will touch and do and then they stay on your story. The next one is, what is your call to action? So what are you actually wanting them to do? If all you want them to do is watch some pretty pictures as they go along, then that's fine. But you also need to think, not all of your posts can be like that, or not all of your stories can be like that. You need to think about how to get people responding. It might be send me a DM. It might be touch here and go and look at my product that I'm selling that would be connected to your shop, for example. It could be many, many, many different things. It could be a countdown. You know, maybe you've got a major special or something coming up, so you're adding a countdown. There's lots and lots of different things that we'll look at in a moment about the type of call to actions that you can add onto your stories. And then the final one is, what are the ways you can include your branding in your stories? Because it's really important that you're instantly recognizable, that when we're on your story, we know who it is that we're actually looking at. So remember, that is your branded creative, the why of what you're actually doing, the engagement, how you're going to get engagement on the stories, the reach, so how many people you're reaching, and then of course your call to action. And that's what's going to make up a solid story. So this is a really, really important one to remember, guys, is there's all these little techniques that come around making up something fantastic that's going to get you some really good reach on your stories. So let's have a little look at branding your stories. So think about your core values and interests, and add your unique brand aesthetic to your stories, which makes your business more memorable and recognizable to your loyal followers. So thinking about, we don't necessarily need to have a logo on our stories, because already at the top of our stories, you constantly will be seeing the logo or whatever picture you've got in there as your profile picture, and the name of your account. So that bit's not quite so important as it is on other posts, for example, but it's definitely important to be thinking about, are you using your branding colors? Are you using your branding vibe, your voice, all of that kind of stuff? If you're putting videos up that are just you talking, like some lives, etc., then think about how you're actually presenting your brand out there to the world. So always keeping in mind, whatever we're doing on social media, we want it to be instantly recognizable that it's you. And then of course we're driving traffic to our website, and once they get to our website, again, they know it's us straight away, and that's where they've landed. So think about the way we want to brand our Instagram stories. You need to be consistent with your color, with your design, with your lighting, with your filters. It's a really easy way to make your stories looking absolutely on point, is just by having the lighting right, or by using filters to do that. So if your business is all about dark and moody, then that's great, but make sure they're all like that you don't just suddenly have bright lights and, you know, very white blown out, etc. So make sure you stay consistent with the style that you are for your brand. So you can think about things like the apps like Story Swag, which I use a lot, and I love Story Swag. And of course there's Canva. I'm not a big fan of Canva for the phone version of it, but I really like Canva for the desktop version. But Story Swag is a desktop only version, and it's brilliant. There's also Word Swag. There's also Typorama. There's heaps of different apps that you can use on your phone to create some really cool things for stories. And I was just showing a client this morning that we had a bunch of her posts sitting there ready in Canva, and then all for Square for Instagram, and all we did then was click resize, made it for Instagram stories, and then all of a sudden she's got 40 Instagram stories that she can use in between lives and things like that she'll also do. So when you're creating those things, though, using apps, think about testing the fonts and the design tools to see what feels right for you, because there's so much available within the app. Remember also your existing branding on your website and your other platforms, and how it can be translated to Instagram. And of course, like I just said, explore third-party apps like Story Swag and Canva. And I also mentioned Word Swag and Typorama. So Word Swag if you're Android, Typorama if you are iPhone, and there's loads and loads and loads of others. So if you've got others that you really enjoy using, let us know in the chat, and we can try them out too. I'm a little bit app obsessed, so I'm always trying out whatever's new and fun that's come along to give it a go. Okay, so let's talk about how you're going to start branding your story. So when you create a new story, this will come up at the top. You've got all these little options along here like this. And so this one here I really love, this squiggly one. So you can choose, I think it's the third along when you click on the squiggle. The third one along, or maybe it's the fourth one along, is like a neon. So you can draw a heart around something, or draw an arrow or a star or whatever you like, and really highlight something. Obviously these letters, you can write notes on top of your stories and things. Now you don't have loads and loads of options about fonts and things like that, and colors also. So make sure that whatever you choose to use, you stay consistent with it. And this one here, we're going to have a look at in big detail in a second. So pay attention to stories. Viewer retention will support your performance in the algorithm. Like I said before, if people are just going swipe, 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 or click forward, click forward, click forward, then that's telling Instagram the content isn't worthy of people spending time on it, and they'll show your stuff to less and less and less people. So make sure that you are doing the stories that are going to get attention from people and that they're going to want to stay and watch them organically without clicking through. And keep that in mind now that you know about that when you're looking at other people's Instagram stories, that you don't suddenly think, oh yeah, I'm going to go click, 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 click through. If it's a business that you really like and you want to show the support for them or show your support for them, make sure you let them organically scroll through so that that's giving them a little bit of extra love. So how will you start focusing on retention? Number one, discover animation tools like InVideo that helps you easily create stories with animation. Record your story in continuous clips so that one leads to another. And remember, you can always download the clips and upload later. And add text or transcription in every story you post. And that way, those who watch on silent know what you're up to. I have to say, I always just do a quick swipe along. If they're doing like some kind of live or video where they're speaking and there's no text at all, then I'm often just going to go swipe right through because I don't even know what the topic is. So for me to then be somewhere where it doesn't matter if the volume's on or whatever, and then turn my volume on and then listen, they've already lost me. So make sure that you're always either using captioning or that you're putting some words in that at least sum up what you're saying on each one of those stories. The next thing to tell you about this thing with InVideo, for example, is that if you've created quite a long video, that's fine because you can use one of those cool tools like what's it called? Short story. Let me have a quick look. Short story. I actually can't. Oh, it's because I was looking at the wrong thing. It's called Long Story Short. So that's a great app that will chop up your video on your phone, chop, 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 chop into whatever lengths you want. But it's really good just to go 15 seconds, and then you post it all up. Make sure that you're posting it for people to watch it in the correct order so that it's not going back to front. But it's a really good way. So if you've used something like InVideo, you've created a cool video, you've made an Instagram version, a YouTube version, and then you've resized it as well for Instagram stories, then of course, just remember to cut it into those little slots so that it can go up onto your stories. So let's have a little look how to start focusing on retention still. So record your story in continuous clips so one leads into another. And then this bit here says around 80% of users watch videos on Instagram on silent. So like I said, write on every clip or use transcription apps to ensure that viewers can absorb your content. Now, if you have a little look down here under Subi, you'll see there's 4. So she's done a video talking to her camera, and it has been split into 4. So as she uploads them, she can even go on to each one of those and add a hashtag or 2, tag somebody in it, add some extra little fun features or filters or whatever she wants to. But she's split that video into 4 different sections. Okay, next along is driving interaction with engagement stickers. I love stickers. So give followers a way to show their interest and interact with your content. Use engagement stickers for feedback. So you can do anything like a poll, questions, a challenge. You can say DM me, which means direct message me. You can do a countdown. You can ask for a donation. You can include a GIF. You can add a hashtag or many hashtags. You can add a slider. Actually, no, it's only one hashtag, but it's many accounts you can tag. Add a slider. You can add a quiz. You can say, do the little thing that says support small business. You can do food orders, gift cards, music, location, or a mention. It's the mention, but I said before that you can only do one, but actually you can do many mentions, but one hashtag. So all of these things are things that you can try in that section. So these stickers I love. So check these out. This one here says, what skincare product can you not live without? And they've got their sunscreen, moisturizer, night cream, toner. And of course, are you likely to be tempted to touch your phone? Yes, you are. So use something like that, which will be fantastic. What about this other one over here? Approximately how much does each ice castle weigh? £7 million, £30 million, £25 million. Of course, you're going to tick one of those, aren't you? Because everybody likes to share their opinion on something. So this is a really, really good way of using questions. This one here is a donation sticker. So there's one, join me in providing children across the US with the tools and resources they need to meet their unique potential. So they've put on the stickers of the hearts, they've added the text, and then they've added one of these, which is the donation sticker. Help support from one hand to another, and then you click donate and boom, it's all attached to your phone. This one over here, 24/7 helpline for patients and carers, and then click to donate. So a great, fantastic way of getting stuff happening there. Okay, what about the DM me sticker? So the direct message me sticker. This person's written, what do you want to know about our wellness talk? DM me. So clearly she's done her wellness talk, she's given out information. If you've got questions, she's inviting you to send a direct message and ask about it. The next one says, have questions about our speaker lineup? DM me. So it's a great way to get people into your DMs, and then you can start having some really authentic and organic conversations, which is a great idea. You'll notice down the bottom too, that remember when I said about the Olympic medals and we're going for gold? So this one here is when if somebody wanted to share this post, you can either click this bit here with your story and share this directly onto your own story, or you can send it into somebody's message inbox, which is also another fantastic thing. Okay, next one is the location sticker, and I advise you to use it or recommend that you would use it every single time if you can. So this is a great way because people search a lot by location. So wherever you are, it doesn't have to be necessarily where your shop is, like the name of your shop. It might just be that you would tag the area, the town, etc., etc. So this one, the way these guys have done it, they did a little bit of text first. So they wrote, earlier this month, our video team took a trip to, and then they've stopped the text because then they've added the location sticker. And then, of course, it says to film the first episode of our new YouTube show. And then can you see how that line across there has a bit of a glow? That's because they use the squiggly option with the highlight option. And then, so I was saying before you could do a star or a heart or something, they've just used a line to really highlight that section. And then they've tagged this person here. So this person here gets it in their notifications that they've been tagged. So a very good idea to do it. Okay, this one over here is the example. They've put the funny little dog as a sticker on there, which is cute. And then they've been talking about the breakfast bowl, etc. And then they've tagged people within that post. And then they've said my favorite aesthetic. And then they have tagged the location of this cafe. So again, those people would also get a notification. And of course, we can click on that Kokomo and go straight there and find out exactly where they are. Look at the maps of how to get there and stuff too. So very, very clever use of the location sticker. The next one is the mention sticker. So this account here, it says they've put this picture in, which they've shared from somebody else. Well, they've shared it from this one here, Matt Crump. They've said that it's the rainbow wallpaper, and it says, touch and hold next screen and screenshot it. What a great call to action is that. They're telling us to screenshot what we're actually seeing so that then will be sitting there in our photo album. So great, clever thing to do. What about this one over here? It says, oh, and sorry, to show you where they've done the mention, they've put it up here. So at, and then they've tagged that business in it there. They've also used the location and they've put it up the side. So also remember that you can move them around, you can make them bigger, make them smaller, or you got to use your fingers. This one over here is a good example. They've tagged 3 different businesses and they've made them the rainbow. So you've only got 3 options. You can make it these colors, the rainbow, or a grayish color. So I'm sure more of those will be coming down the track. They've said $1 from the sale of every bag and cold brew goes to local skate-centric non-profits. And then they've tagged these 2 businesses here, uplifting lives with this Colombian coffee. And this one over here, they've tagged them separately and done the mentions. So that's a great way to get people knowing about more. Now, what you would do if you wanted to know more about Skate Like a Girl, you would just hold your finger down on that mention and it would take you directly to their account. So by tagging someone in your post, they're stoked that you've done it, because that's more people finding out about them that didn't know about them before. And also it's getting them directly over to their account. And then you might just press like and become a follower, or press follow. Okay, let's look at the hashtag, the hashtag sticker. So hashtags are used in so many different ways. Clearly that they're there as a search tool, but they're also there for fun. So this here, down here, it's tagged at Mrs. Vegan. So we clearly know there's something vegan going on here, and she's used hashtag just egg. So that's going to show up when people are also following the just egg hashtag, but also just by seeing that hashtag there, immediately we knew that she had something that she was trying to tell us. So obviously, clearly she's telling us about her veganism. And then she has down here, she has tagged that she's in the location, Joshua Tree, California. This one over here is hashtag Dear Vogue. Oh, what just happened to my, can you guys still see? Oh, that just was so weird. It just disappeared for a little moment. So yeah, the hashtag Dear Vogue, you'll notice the different text that they're using. So that's just by choosing the text and then choosing which style that you want to use. And she's put a little sticker on that says sound on, because clearly she's going to be speaking and she wants you to be listening to it. So, and then she's tagged somebody there, and she's tagged the location in Milan and used her hashtag. So think about how you can be using your hashtags on your Instagram stories. The next one are the Giphies. Some people call them GIFs. I call them GIFs. And you can have a little look at how you can use a GIF. So the GIF on this one is the swipe sticker. The GIF on this one is the yes daily, not yet, for example. There's heaps and heaps and heaps of options on, oh, sorry, it's the arrow there. There's so many options, but if you see this one here, so hey, you all doing some research for a Girl Boss feature. Have you ever had a quarter life crisis, especially related to work? And you can either tap your phone and say yes daily, or tap your phone and say not yet. And then she says, want to talk about it? My DMs are open. And remember that DMs are direct messages. So it's really inviting you to get in there and have a one-on-one chat with her, which is great. Go tell Color Wars if this sounds like you. So really, really clear call to actions. And this one here is a really, really cool clear to action swipe. It's telling us exactly what they want us to do. Okay, next one, we've got a poll and emoji stickers. So the poll is this one here, and I love it. Every time I use it, we get great interaction. So this one is, how do you drink your coffee, hot or iced? How simple is that? And of course, because we're all programmed to be touching our phones, straight away we put it on there and we go hot or we go iced. And then often what people will do with these stories is that they'll then put another one up saying, look, 49% of you said hot and 51% of you said iced. And then they can do another story, which then puts it up again and says, so if you haven't answered yet, which one are you? And so they just keep these stories going and keep you engaged and entertained with it. We look at this one over here. How tall can they get? And this is a swiper. So again, with your finger, they've created that saying 5 foot, 4.5 foot, 3 foot, 2 foot. And they've put the penguin emoji on there. They've flipped it around on its side. And then you, with your finger, you push it up or put it down, depending what you think the height is of the penguin. So people do it because they enjoy touching their phone and they enjoy giving their opinions. So it's a wonderful way to get a lot of really good engagement. So make sure you try out those amazing stickers, particularly those polls, because they're fun. And on the one where you're choosing the slider, you can choose different emojis that you would use at that point. So you'll notice that the one that it's automatically set to is a smiley with the red love hearts, but you can change that to be something or other else if it's going to work. We did one with a client this morning, and we chose, it was saying 100, like 100%, and up it went. And immediately we knew it was going to get some good engagement on that. Okay, let's look at the question sticker. So see the one on the left here, it's a very, very plain one. So it says, Talk to Me Tuesday is back for one night only. Ask me whatever. This is a really, really, really popular one with the younger demographic. And I find it quite interesting seeing what people are asking them about themselves. And then they'll put those answers in subsequent stories. So this one over here was, it's time for a multivitamin if, and then they say your first pet was a Tamagotchi. This person says you owned and killed a Tamagotchi. This person says you've owned a Tamagotchi. So when I said here, when somebody types the answer, this is how you can share what people have actually asked you. So this, when person types in there, then they can repeat it over on here, for example. So that's a great way to get more interaction too. So definitely keep in mind the question stickers. Now we've got the countdown stickers, a really, really great idea if you've got something amazing coming up. These guys are talking about it with the bakery. These guys are talking about it with a presentation that they're doing. There's lots and lots of different ways that you can use a countdown. It might be to a new product release. It could be to an opening or a closing. It could be a closing down sale. It could be anything. It might be that you've been away on holiday and you're taking bookings in 7 hours and down it goes, that countdown. And what's so good is it will keep appearing and keep showing up for people. So it builds that excitement. Then we've got the shopping stickers. So if you click on this one here, it will take you directly to be able to buy that faux fur trapper hat. If you click on this one, it takes you straight away to be able to go over and buy that Browsings product. So the shopping is a fantastic way to get people buying your stuff. Unfortunately, you can't do it as a service. So I couldn't have a one-on-one session with me, have it sitting in there, and then you tap it and then buy it. It has to be a product-based post that you're doing, not a service-based. Okay, so let's how to think about how to start with engagement stickers. So the first one is understand the nuance of each sticker and what new reach or interaction or nurturing that you can accomplish with it. Consider engagement stickers to regularly start conversations, which then can lead to conversions. And pay close attention to those who reply to engagement stickers or watch the story all the way through, and then you can start a conversation with them in the DMs. To access the story insights of the active story, which you'll want to be having a little look at to see what's going on for you and behind the scenes, is you can just follow these steps. Tap on the current story, swipe up the story that you're viewing, and it will open a bottom drawer view with the story insights. And then you tap the eye icon and to view the actual Instagram users who have viewed the story, and tap the chart icon to view the insights for the story. So you can take a little screenshot of that if you want to remember how to go and look at your insights for stories. Doing that on your phone. So this here is the chart icon. The one next to it is the eye icon to see who viewed the story. And that will tell you a lot about what people are doing. And also, of course, what happens? Have they gone directly to your bio and had a look? Have they, at the bio stage, clicked through to your website? And if you don't have a website yet, then what you can do, instead of putting a website in, you could put a link to your Facebook or to your Facebook group or anywhere else that you've got information about yourself. Could even be your Google My Business website, because if you haven't set up your website, with your own domain name, definitely be using a Google My Business one in the meantime. Okay, next, Instagram stories for my business. Should I be using them? Well, the nature of social media means that in order to stay relevant and engaged with your users, your strategy needs to flex in line with platform changes and trends. So there's no question that stories is here to stay. So you really need to be using them. It's a brilliant way to stay front of mind. And the great thing about Instagram stories is that they appear at the top of your audience's feed for 24 hours rather than disappearing into the ether of the algorithm if that deems it necessary. So it also gives you the opportunity to post more often with little updates, boosting your brand awareness. And on your feed, you wouldn't want to be doing 20 posts a day, but you can easily do 20 stories a day and have people constantly engaging with them. Also, it's a great way to protect your quality feed. So one of the key engagement factors with Instagram is the quality of your feed, and each post can take hours to get it right. But with stories, the photos and videos don't get saved to your profile, meaning that you can cash in on the benefits of real-time marketing without cluttering your profile with less than perfect images. So if you've got a business that's only Monday to Friday, but you want to keep some stuff happening on the weekend, do a post of where you're at, what you're doing, and you might be out on a boat or out on a bike ride or who knows what you might be doing. You might be literally sitting on the couch watching Netflix. Take a photo of what you're watching, put a story up, and put a poll up and say, what are you watching on Netflix? You know, if you're having a chill weekend, tell me what it is that you're actually watching. I've just seen some stuff in the chat, and one is, how do you add to a story within the 24 hours? Yes. So if you want to open up your phone right now and open up the Instagram app, and then straight away you'll see up on the very top left, you've got your story. So that's how you would do your first story. But when you want to do a subsequent story, like a second and a third or a 20th or whatever, then you're going to hold on to that logo, click your thumb down or your finger down, and you'll notice that it pops up and says, add to your story. Yes, great. And somebody just asked me in another message, what do you recommend instead of Canva for iPhone? Yeah, look, the Canva app is definitely improving, but it's definitely millions of times better on the desktop than it is on the phone. So I would recommend Typorama. And I think it's about $27 to buy as a one-off fee. You don't keep paying for it. And Typorama is amazing. And of course, you can resize, so you can make them Instagram size, then resize for Instagram stories. You can also do A4. You can make them for your iWatch. You can make them for all kinds of things. So definitely Typorama is amazing. They're constantly adding new font options and all that kind of stuff. But also they are linked to, I think it's Unsplash, which is just full of free images for you to use, royalty-free, copyright-free, etc. So it's a really, really great way to do it. And I've been using Typorama for years and I love it. The reason I say only for iPhone is because because you can buy it just as a one-off payment. Whereas if you're an Android, then they'll make you actually pay by the month, which is super annoying. Same with WordSwag. So if you're Android, you can just buy it once off. I think it might be $5 or $6. But if you're iPhone, they'll make you pay monthly again. So that's why I say one for that sort of phone, one for that sort of phone. That's what's going on there. Maureen says, can the product be an ebook? No, it can't. It has to be something that's a physical product, which is frustrating, I know. Okay, we want you to become more discoverable. Yes, Petra says Unsplash and Pixabay, great for sourcing royalty-free images for a product. Indeed, and there's also Pixels, which is a terrible one for my accent, I know. So Merlin might just be able to post all of those into the chat for you. There's heaps more than just that as well, but those three are definitely my top three that I use all the time. And most of them are connected to Canva, connected to Typorama, for example, connected to WordSwag. So you don't even need to get the apps for them. You can just go into those platforms and use all those images that are sitting in there. So you want to become more discoverable. Just as users will come across new accounts via posts, stories are also discoverable, meaning that they provide a great opportunity to expand your follower base. But remember, it's not about the number of followers that you have. It's about the quality of the followers that you have. There's no point having 1,000, 10,000, 1 million followers if no one's engaging with your posts, because no one's going to be seeing your stuff. So make sure, even if you've only got 100 followers, that the posts that you're putting out there are getting great engagement and the people that you've got following are quality people. You don't want to go down the road of buying followers because they're not your ideal audience and they're certainly not going to become your customers. So include a link without changing your profile. If you've ever tried to point your audience to a particular web page via Instagram, you'll know that this is really challenging and it's only possible by directing them to your profile and changing the website. So you'll notice a lot where we write, people write link in bio, for example. That means the link that we're talking about in this post, you're gonna have to go to our bio or our profile and then you'll be able to see it sitting there and then click that through. But if you have more than 10,000 followers on Instagram stories, you can say swipe up and then it takes them somewhere. So you can add links to your content. But as I mentioned, it's only once you've got 10,000 followers. I see that all the resources, thanks Merlin, all the resources have been put into chat that we use. Brilliant. So there's StorySwag, WordSwag for Android, Typorama for iPhone, Canva, Pick Play Post. That's one of my favorites is Pick Play Post. It costs money. You've got to pay every quarter, but it's brilliant. Long story short, it's one that cuts your videos. Story Cutter also cuts your videos. And then there's also in there Pixels, Pixabay, and Unsplash. Thanks, Mel, and that's awesome. Okay, so have some fun with your audience. It can be hard to show the fun side of your brand on Instagram. With the pressure to create perfect content, posts tend to be more inspirational than jovial. But with stories, you have more freedom to let loose and experiment with different types of content, giving you the perfect platform to try new things. Well, you're welcome, Sherry. The Instagram Stories feature offers a fantastic opportunity to engage with your audience more flexibly and outsmart the ongoing changes to their algorithm. There are so many benefits to giving it a go, so why not try it out for your business? So in summary, these are the things I want you to think about. Consider how to add your unique brand aesthetic to your Instagram stories to be recognizable and memorable. Number 2, create stories that are optimized for viewer retention to support your performance in the algorithm. So remember, that could be, if it's a video, making sure that you've got captions or at least text in there to let us know what's going on so that we can turn the volume up if we're able to do that. And also to be thinking about using those kind of stickers to be getting people to do things on the stories. Also, number 3 is use engagement stickers to spark conversation and isolate hot leads. And the way that you do that is to get people straight into your DMs and then start having those conversations. And number 4 is focus on reach to connect with new users to continuously grow your targeted community of followers. Notice I've said targeted community of followers, not just to grow your account, because as I said, we don't need to play that vanity game of high numbers. We want quality posts and quality followers rather than just high numbers. So consider this. Each time you sit down to create your post, ask yourself, is what I'm about to post going to help, inspire, entertain, motivate, educate, or add value in some way? Have a little think about that 80-20 rule. Have a little think about the Olympic medals as an analogy for engagement. Have a think about all those kind of things. And I'm a big believer in don't just post for the sake of posting, because a lot of people will say you need to just have content out there. Go, 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 go. But I also think if you're putting content out there that hasn't had some thought behind it of what you're actually sharing, then you're more likely to get people just to unfollow you. So better off if you just put something up once a day that you've put some thought and effort into than 10 times a day that you're just putting it out there because you've been told that you should do it. So definitely consider what it is that you're putting out there that's representing your brand. So have a little think about this. I say this one all the time, but I really like it. You can buy attention, which is known as advertising. You can beg for attention from the media, which is called PR. You can bug people one at a time to get attention, which can be sales, or you can earn attention by creating something interesting and something valuable and then publish it online for free, which is social media. Remembering the word social in the social media. So here is what you'll see when you jump into the Facebook group for Hello Media. The first thing is that there's a pinned post, which is this follow letter. And a follow letter is a wonderful way to grow your account organically. So if you're not already in the group, make sure that you request to join, but you need to answer the questions when you request to join, because otherwise you're immediately declined from joining. So make sure that you answer the questions, jump in here, and you'll see in a second the chat for what is the link for joining the group. And then spend the time on this post here. Jump into the chat, into the comments, and sort of just copy the way I've done it here. So this is the way you do it. You introduce yourself. And so, for example, my statement is I help businesses get visible online. I'm Kylie and I build brands. And there's a link to my Facebook page. I've tagged it, also my Facebook group, and there's the Instagram account, which you can't tag in that way, but you can put a link in. So then what you do is you jump into the comments and you just comment, or you go through each one of those and follow and like them, etc. Then you go down the bottom and you put your stuff in, and then people will then go and follow you too. So it's a lovely way to get some growing going on in your account. So going forward, get stuck into creating engaging organic posts today and get stuck into Instagram stories. So tell me in the chat, will you? Is that a yes, a no, or a maybe, or I'm going to give it a little try? But if it's a big fat yes, then do that one in capital letters, because I'd love to see who's feeling ready and who's feeling brave to either up the stories that they're already doing, or to just try easing into it. I'm seeing a yes, a sure, and also Instagram guides. Great, sure. Bruce says baby steps. Baby steps is better than no steps. Leslie, yes, maybe. I love it. Let's take out the maybe. Let's just go, yes. Very good. Okay, so show the world what you stand for. Be more purpose-driven, more human, more imperfect, and more real. So even though what I said before, which was don't just post willy-nilly all the time just for the sake of posting, like put thought and time and effort into what you're posting. Also remember at the same time that done is better than perfect. So if you're trying to always wait for your feed to look perfect or your post to be perfect or the caption to be absolutely perfect, it will stop you moving forward and it will stop you posting. So always remember, done is better than perfect. Okay, so I want to be able to tell you about a new masterclass that we have starting in a few weeks, which is all about how you can grow your own website. So you can grow it if you're selling something, you'll want to grow it on Shopify, or if you are more of a brochure style, then you'll be wanting to do it on Wix. And so it goes over 3 days and you will literally learn exactly what you need to know about SEO, search engine optimization, keywords. You'll learn all about, see you, Leslie. Nice to see you. You'll learn all about how to create your website, and we'll do all that together. And then you'll learn how to drive traffic to your website and then convert that traffic once they're there. And so we'll talk about performance of your website, etc. too. So the link for that will just be going into the chat in a moment. And then what we have coming up this Wednesday, we only have 2 spots left. And that is our 1-day masterclass. So 8 hours of email marketing. And what happens is that in a masterclass, it's not just about learning like in this, it's actually about the doing. So we set up your graphics, we set up your everything. And at the end of the day, you actually press send and out goes your first newsletter. So the masterclasses are really fun to be on. And you'll see that popping up in the chat very, very soon if you want to explore a bit more about that. Okay, so what is next? For next week, the free digital marketing webinar, the topic is Clubhouse. Let me know in the chat, is anybody on Clubhouse yet? And if you are, tell me what your handle is and then I can go and follow you. So I'm a little tiny bit addicted to Clubhouse. I'm finding it probably my favorite platform to be hanging out on at the moment. And it takes a lot of getting used to because of the fact that there's no messaging, there's no words, there's no nothing. So if you're listening to something that you really love, how do you let them know that you're loving it? Or how do you let them know that you agree, for example? So come along next Monday, find out about Clubhouse. And if you want to be, Joe says, I'm still trying to get it sorted. Can you send a link to Clubhouse or is it just an app? It is only an app and it's only for iPhones. So, or iPads for that matter. So they're saying that probably in March, it'll also be open to Androids. But for now, it's only for iOS devices. So for those of you that would like an invite, let us know. Actually, I think in Hello Media, in the Facebook group, we've got a post in there. So we might pin it, I think, so that you can put your name down if you'd like an invite. Because at the moment, I just got 3 sent this morning, for example. So the invites are there. And I'm regularly just inviting people in. And so if you want to come along next week and learn all about Clubhouse, you're welcome to. And also, I think it might be this Friday in the webinar with Jenny. I think we're also talking about Clubhouse. Well, I can't remember, but I think so. Okay, next is this. So also I just want to say, if you're not sure what to do here, you just open up your phone, open up your camera app and scan that, which will register you for that next week. The other one, which is this Friday, and its webinar also is the bite-sized conversations with Jenny. So you can scan that one if you'd like to join us. 9:15 a.m. New South Wales time, 8:15 Queensland. So you can come along to that. So social media is not, I forgot my favorite top line, which is the great equalizer. Social media is not a media. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. So if you want to connect with me, there's my Facebook group. the website, Facebook page, the Instagram, and you can also book your free discovery call. It's 30 minutes and we can just chat about how we might work together or how I might help you in your business. So what I'd love to do is click stop share. Just get a photo of us all being here together. So if you want to put your camera on, and I'll count down from 3 and we'll do a little snap, because always remember, if there's no photo, then it didn't happen. So 3, 2, 1, hey. So great to have you all here with me today. Thanks for joining. Thank you, as always, to Merlin and Honey, my team that are in there behind the scenes, just getting stuff done. And if I've missed any questions, we will be talking about them in the Hello Media Facebook group. So I try to answer as many of the questions as I can in there. So if I miss them out on the day, so just come along, join in, and ask any questions that you have. And I look forward, guys, to connecting with you soon. Oh, one last question is, let me know in the chat, what was your aha moment from today? So is there something that you learned today that you didn't know about before that you're going to go away and try? So maybe it was the whole topic of Instagram stories, or maybe it was the fact that you need to get people using their finger, touching their phone, for example. Maybe it's a lot of people were frightened by Instagram stories because they thought it needed to be selfies, but it's not all about that at all. It's actually all about getting people to touch and do using their fingers. So yeah, can you remember, does anybody remember what that figure was of the average number of people? It's over 2,000, yes, Joe, over 2,400 times a day is what we average the times that we touch our phones. Pretty extraordinary, isn't it? And Robin says, only post once a day if thoughtful rather than post without thought. Yes, absolutely. Press says, the whole stories thing has been a mystery to me. Oh, wow, from Joe. Cutting up videos on phones, says April. That's great. That's great. Instagram stories quick guide will send. Oh, yes. Merlin, thank you for that reminder. So Merlin reminded me that we've got a new magic PDF to send out to you if you would like to have it. And if you do, please put your email in the chat. So that is that it's going to tell you and show you, it's a guide that you can follow along with of how to post to Instagram stories directly from your desktop. So I got it wrong before when I said about scheduling it. It's not to do that at all. And hopefully, though, that will be coming to Creator Studio. But what it is for is so that you don't always have to do it on your phone. Often, a lot of you are like me, where we're sitting in front of a computer all day. So the fact that you'll be able to do it from your computer is super awesome. So if you want that, all we need is your email in the chat and we will do it. Cool. Nice to see you guys. Thanks very much for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. So hopefully Friday for Clubhouse, and again Monday, I think also Clubhouse. Oh, I'm so into Clubhouse. All right, guys. Awesome to see you and have a great afternoon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.